you wanna be somebody, even if you gotta leave somebody. Yes, I'm hurt, yes, I'm dead. Most of the things I don't wanna say. I won't be around while you change.
Hey you guys, welcome back to Taylor XO, or welcome to Taylor XO if you're a new subscriber. So y'all, let's get into this video because as you guys know, and a lot of you see my short posted, there was a clip and there was a few reactors that have mentioned that Ava had said something, out of her mouth that sounded like, well, mommy, did Chris hit you? And as you guys know, a little while back, somebody had posted a video of Aiden saying, did mommy hit you? And, as you guys know, there's been a lot of things, allegations, things going around on these YouTube streets of, Liv exposing the fact that Chris hit and spit at Jazzy. And, now it just seems like the kids have been like coming out of the woodworks all of a sudden in her lives, questioning her like, mommy, did Chris hit you? And if you guys also watched my last video that I posted, there was another few allegations of some things with Kaylin and Chris. And, a lot of people thought that she was going to come out and, kind of address that whole thing, because you would think as a mother, especially involving, a boyfriend and your oldest daughter in the home of something of like that, she would kind of mention it and address it. But she didn't say a word. She didn't address it. And in fact, she came live to speak, I guess, or try to dance around, all the allegations that have been going around about Chris and about her and just all around. So, what sparked a lot of people saying these things when I posted this short, and I'm going to post this clip in here. This is the clip of Ava saying, mommy, did Chris hit you? And then Amaya in the background. If you listen very, very closely, we hear Amaya in the back saying, I saved mommy. So let's get into this clip and then we will talk about it.
Girl, they requested pizza today.
What? Why, mommy? Mommy, Chris hit you.
Huh? What? Okay, put it down.
Mommy, Chris hit you. Mommy, I saved mommy.
Go sit down and, bring her.
So if you guys listen closely, Ava did say, mommy, did Chris hit you? Now, I know there was a lot of speculation going around of people saying it sounded more like, mommy, can I sit with you? And, you guys obviously know that the twins do get speech therapy, and it is kind of hard to tell what she kind of said if you hear over all the kids screaming and just how you can't really make out what she said. But a lot of people listen to it over and over and over again, and even myself, I listened to it over and over and over again, and all I could make of that was, mommy, did Chris hit you? Now, I know a lot of people, like I just said, it sounded like, mommy, can I sit with you? But it wouldn't have made sense for her to ask, mommy, can I sit with you, when Jazzy looked one way when Ava asked that. And then after Ava got done saying that, that's when I think Aiden tried to get up, and Jazzy must have thought he was doing something else, but he was trying to ask her to open up his juice pack. And, I know a lot of people had got that confused, but it very much so was Ava saying, mommy, did Chris hit you? And then Amaya asked, I saved mommy. And that's when Aiden, I guess, asked her to open his juice box, but she had thought that he said something else. So that's when she turned the attention to him to take it off of the fact that Ava did say, did Chris hit you? So, I know a lot of people get confused, and I know a lot of people say, well, you're reaching, that wasn't what was said. If you go back and look, this was said. But, sometimes people do reach, especially reactors, the people that dislike Jazzy. I know a lot of times people want it to be that because, they may have a certain dislike for Jazzy, but a lot of the times when reactors do call out these things, it is most of the time, genuine things that are going on. But I think a lot of people try to downplay because, a lot of the times when you like your favorite YouTuber and, if somebody were to come and say something to you, you don't really want to believe what it is. Now, I'm not saying that Jazzy is anybody's favorite YouTuber, but in fact, there is people that do like her. So when, they hear bad things of people trying to put things on her or say things about her, they don't want to believe it. And it's just lies. But if it did say that and she did try to play it off and, pass it off as if it was something else, you could tell with her body language that, she didn't want to speak on it. And she just was shocked that Ava had decided to say something like that on live. But Aiden also had said the same thing a few weeks back. And, it just makes sense that, now all of a sudden now the kids want to start asking her these questions after Liv had made that phone call about the cops needing to be called because obviously there was some sort of domestic violence situation that went on in the home. So, I will say that Jazzy tries to deflect off of these things. She doesn't want people to put two and two together and know what's truly going on in her home. She wants people to think that, she has this very loving relationship with Chris and he's over there doing his best to try to work these, jobs or a job to try to, provide for his family, and he just is all about his family. But sis, there wouldn't be so much drama with this man if he was this big family man as you say he is, and this big working man as you say he is, because working men should only have time to be, providing and spending and, just treating their family right. They shouldn't be having time to sit in the house and beat on a woman and be mean to kids and, do all the things that he's been accused of on these YouTube streets. Now, I will say that these are all still allegations. I will, use the disclaimer for that. These are still all allegations. I mean, there hasn't been any legit receipts or, Liv coming out specifically saying what she heard that night or just period, during the time of being on the phone with Chris and Jazzy. There hasn't been anything, no legit stamped 100% proof that this is in fact what happened. So, it's still all allegations, but we all know what's truly going on. And when we add it all up and when you hear little kids on the live asking you, mommy, why did Chris hit you? It obviously, just kind of clarifies what we all are over here thinking. And Jazzy just refuses to address it. So not only did she not address the whole situation with Chris and Liv, but she also didn't come on here to address the situation with Liv's ex-mod exposing her for telling what was going on with Chris and Caitlyn. So, it's just very odd that she is just trying her hardest to avoid all these things, but it's all catching up and piling on her plate. And sis, eventually these things will be exposed and, there will probably some solid proof will come out behind all these allegations. But, by her trying so hard to deflect and not speaking on things, it just is giving sis you were so guilty and you're just trying to, spin the narrative and still make Chris out to seem like he is this, godly man and he works and he's for his family and, he loves you and he loves his kids, when we truly know that that is not the case. But during that live also, when she, went on to try to avoid Ava, speaking on the truth, she also made this comment that made a lot of people really look at her sideways. And, knowing Jazzy, she didn't think anything of it. But, all us mothers were looking at her sideways like, sis, what is the big deal with your kids touching you? So let's get into this clip and then we will talk about it.
What's wrong with them touching you? I don't like being touched like that all the time. I said that years ago. Kaylin and Maya used to touch on me like they used to rub on me. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like being rubbed on like that. The twins do that too. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean that they don't do it, because they still do it. That's just me. I just don't like being rubbed on. And kids do that a lot.
So right after that whole situation with Ava went down, she tried to distract people, and she went on to say that she didn't like her kids touching her, and she's been saying that for years, and she doesn't understand why her kids continued to touch her. But sis, you were their mother. At the end of the day, kids love affection, especially from their mother. And for you to make it seem like it's so odd and, it's just so weird how your kids want to touch you, and just to be so selfish acting to say that you don't want your kids touching you, sis, there will be one day when you are old and your kids don't want to come around you anymore, and you will wish that your kids wanted to touch you. And I just think it is so weird how this girl is with her kids, especially with affection. And even people in the live were telling her, like, Jazzy, you should give your kids more affection. It is good for, the development of your kids to give affection and loves and kisses and hugs. And, she didn't really want to be bothered with the conversation. And she just is so cold-hearted when it comes to her kids. And, a lot of people were saying, like, you don't like affection from your kids, but I'm sure if Chris was touching all over you, you wouldn't have all these issues as you claim of, oh, I just hate that. I don't want anybody to touch me. It's just like, she said that Kaylin and Amaya like to rub on her. Like, sis, I think any real mother wouldn't mind their kids coming up to rub on them or hug them or kiss them, and then you wonder why, you're going through the issues such as your oldest daughter being online seeking attention from others, because you as the mother in the home don't even really seem to care to give, your 10-year-old daughter any affection, in which, all them kids look to crave affection from her. But, it's just selfish acting. Obviously she probably didn't have her mother to give her any affection, but to act like that with your kids is just so weird. And, it's another example of how she loves a man up under her, rubbing and touching her. But when it comes to her kids, she just doesn't want to be bothered with any of that. So let's get into this live that she decided to do the day after people or myself had hopped on to expose her for Ava saying this in the background. It's just so strange how this girl continues to just glide over things and try to put things in place for people to talk about. Just like how she titled this live, "Could I Be Pregnant?" And I'm just looking at her like, sis, it's definitely giving deflecting vibes, like you want people to talk about the possibility of being pregnant after people have been talking about you getting beat on. So let's get into this video and then we will talk about it.
Hey, y'all, I'm really drained. I feel like I'm tired. I don't know, but I did get lightheaded, like at the store. When we got to the car, I felt like I was gonna put out. Not when we got to the car, so I had already put the groceries in the car. I was literally pushing the basket to go put the basket up, and I had Legend in it. And I was finna pick him up, and I got so lightheaded, like it just looked black. And I was like, oh my god, let me just sit down. I sat down and parked the lot for a second. Then I drove off. So let me just go home. And I know when I wake him up, he's gonna want to eat. That's why I grabbed him some food too, that I could feed him. And then it's just like I feel like like, how do you say it, y'all? I feel like she said them pregnancy symptoms, girl. I don't think I'm pregnant right now. I'm not. I shouldn't be. Don't tell me that, because last time I did this, I was like, I'm about to get back on my weight loss journey. I went to the same place that y'all see me go to. I went up there. I had paid for my first dose of my shots, and I was like, I'm about to get back on it. Even though I wasn't out of shape, but I wanted to be more back in. I wanted to lose more weight. Let's say that. And a week later, I found out I was pregnant, and I was like, bro, I just wasted my money. I just wasted my money. And it's sad. Usually they did let me. So I got 2 shots before I found out I was pregnant. And I had 2 roll over, and I got those 2 shots after I had Legend. It's like a B12 and a lipo. I really just do it for the B12 more so, because y'all see how my energy level be. But I better not be. I won't try to do this right now.
So I split it up into 2 clips so you guys can hear how she originally started talking about how she went to the store with Legend in the morning, and she started feeling very faint, and she felt like she was about to black out and faint. And then I guess somebody in the chat had said, Jazzy, that sounds like pregnancy symptoms. And then she went on to start talking about how when she started taking her B12 shots the last time, right before she found, or right after, shortly after her first shot, she found out she was pregnant with Legend. So I guess she was trying to insinuate that maybe this is a sign that this will be yet again another situation to where she took her B12 shot and now she's going to find out that she's pregnant. But sis, like I said, that's definitely giving that you want people to deflect off the situation at hand of what's going on with your kids. And it's truly sick how she would try to come on here and up this man and up this man. You know, you would think that a mother, you know, she came on here to cry and she was so riled up and upset when her mother exposed something on Chris, you know, that happened when Jazzy was over there. But it seems like, you know, people, you know, speaking on a situation having to do with your daughter and a grown man, you know, it seems like you don't have that energy. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, well, I'm sure she's just tired of addressing the drama and the hate at this point. It's probably getting tiring to her. But you know, if you have enough energy to come on here and try to, you know, paint your man in a whole different way because you know people are on here dogging him out and telling the truth about him, then you have the time to speak on the fact that you do have somebody that's living in your home that continues to hit on you when your kids are witnessing it, and there continues to be allegations of this man, you know, doing inappropriate and saying inappropriate stuff to your daughters. Now, I will yet again say that all these, you know, things are allegations, even, you know, Chris hitting her. But like I will keep saying, we know, you know, we know by her demeanor, by how she's trying to be extra secretive, how he's been, you know, dipped out since that whole situation went down. You know, she kind of has to sneak in and get his voice in her vlog. She can't even get a full clip of him home in these vlogs. So sis, it's giving that he's not there, and you were so delusional, just like your ex-best friend Liv, that you will come on here and try your best to prove to people that you do still have a piece of a man in the home. But we know that Chris is dipped out, especially, I'm sure, you know, from this shit that's been going down on YouTube involving him. I do think that he probably doesn't want anything to do with YouTube anymore. But sis, why not just say that? You know, it would just, you know, end a lot of speculation and things being said if you were to come on here and just say, well, you know what, you know, since all these allegations are going on towards him, I think he just doesn't want to do YouTube anymore, and it's just best if people, you know, stop asking about him. He's not coming on the channel anymore, and, you know, nothing is being discussed of anything that has to do with him. But she hasn't come on here and said that, though. She hasn't, in fact, said anything. She just has kept making the excuse. Even when people were in her live asking her, like, sis, where's Chris? You know, we miss him. She didn't really say much but say that he's working, and that's all she said. But, you know, sis, it's just giving that you are trying to, you know, cover up any and everything that has to go or do with this man over there. And you will continue to do that until you can't anymore. And until, you know, people come out with real receipts on what's going on, because clearly there is people over there who do know what's going on. It's just they don't want to do anything. And I know a lot of people will say, well, you know, obviously, you know, she's doing something right if CPS still has not taken the kids from her. But I will say that, you know, abusers don't just stop at, you know, one little fight. It does continue, and it will get worse and worse. And it probably will, you know, get to the point to where a call is made to where, you know, it is a situation where the kids need to be removed from the home because, you know, she can't keep the man out of there. But we will see what goes down. But I do think that, you know, these kids are truly traumatized. I think that's why they keep asking her. You know, they're wondering what's wrong with their mother. I'm sure that Jazzy has, you know, been even more weirder around there and treating the kids even worse than she already does now. And they, you know, want to have answers to why their mother is acting like that and why she seems super down and depressed, which, you know, that's not a surprise coming from Jazzy. We know that, you know, on a daily basis, that's how she is with her kids. And, you know, being kids, they don't understand what's really going on. And, you know, their mother's actions towards them. But I do think that there will be something that does go down to where, it does force her to choose between him or her kids. And, that's when we will really, really see if, how she comes on here and try to always say that she loves her kids no matter what people say. We will see then, sis. We will truly see, who you really care about then. But comment down below what you guys think on the clip of Ava saying, "Mommy, did Chris hit you?" And what did you guys hear? Did you hear "Mommy, did Chris hit you?" or did you hear "Mommy, did Chris sit with you?" Comment down below, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for another one.
Tell me what you see in me. Gotta be something different.